0.5. 0 and 1 something. A fun interchange. Active. All above. Yeah, that would be great. Multiple choice. But yes, I think all of the above does apply here. Always changing. That's right, and that's one of the points actually I make later on, is that I don't think a classroom should be a really rigid hierarchy, because in that way students at the bottom can get bored, powered out, disconnected. Rather, it should be fluid and ever-changing, giving everyone a chance to share their opinions and so that everybody has a chance to be heard. Attitude, buzzing, challenging and changing, collaboration, collaborative, connected, creative and fun. Creativity. So we see a lot of creative. Discovery, diversity, energetic, safe, engaged participants, engagement, engaging, ever-changing, stimulating, excitement, exciting, and vigorous. Okay, that's an interesting word. Flexibility, flexible, evolving, fun, funky, and hip. Yeah, that sounds about right. Hands-on, high interest, interaction, inviting, where the teacher is a mentor, motivating, non-threatening, not quiet, smart board, open energy, paperless, projects, real, relevant, risk. Yeah, that's right. I think that in an innovative classroom, much like in the stock market, you have to take risks sometimes, and those hopefully pay off more than in the stock market. Students are engaged, student interaction, students teach me. Very good. Raise your hand if you have learned from your students before. I think almost every hand is raised there. So students can really be effective teachers. Teaching is rich and engaging, technology, unique, uses new vision and engaging. So thank you very much for sharing your vision of an innovative classroom. So I like the idea of more online content in the classroom, using services like Discovery Education, Safari, Montage, and you can really go beyond the walls of your classroom. Just because your classroom has walls around it doesn't mean that they're there to keep you in, rather to let you go beyond them. You can bring experts and content in through mediums like video conferencing. Center for Interactive Learning and Collaboration provides different content that you can select. I'm a video conferencing user. I actually speak to schools that way quite a bit. So flexibility is another aspect of the innovative classroom. Sometimes you have to go beyond the normal and defy conventional wisdom. And for instance, the status quo, and I hope I'm using that word correctly because it's like my first time using it, has been to teach students to memorize facts, dates, etc. While that's fine, and that's sometimes necessary because you have to give students that base of information, I think that in an innovative classroom, teachers shouldn't just teach the right answers. Teachers should teach and students should learn how to ask the right questions. Now, I know that there's no such thing as the right question. I mean, all questions are right pretty much. But my way of looking at it is that asking questions is kind of like squeezing juice. In order to get the most juice out of the orange, you have to squeeze it in the most juice-inducing way. As a case in point, in the classes I give to students over video conferencing, then students are able to ask questions at the end. So most of the time they ask, well, kind of in the middle, mediocre questions like, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? How old are you? Do you have a pet? When they could be asking questions like, how do you think your life experiences have shaped your writing? Right? So asking questions that will get more responses or better responses, I think that students should be learning that. My mom was recently reading Barbara Walters' memoir, Audition, and she mentioned that Barbara Walters talked about how hard it could be to come up with questions. Whereas when looking for information, you have resources like the internet, your local library, your classroom. And so knowing how to ask the right questions can lead students on a path toward discovery. After all, how do you think Apple came up with the iPod? Probably by asking themselves a question like, how can we bring music everywhere? And after research and development, voila. We could use a few more Steve Jobs and technology developers in the world, so coming up with good questions is a skill that everyone could use. So to summarize, in an innovative classroom, students should be able to reach their full potential, know how to ask good questions, yada, yada, yada. This vision is very fine and dandy, and this is what we're hoping to get to. But in order to make that vision a reality, you have to get your hands dirty and put some of the pieces together for implementation. So I wanted to ask you, what are some of the things you do to innovate in education? Now this is kind of a two-part thing. You have to start out by asking your neighbors on your left and your right about what they do to innovate in education. So